welcome everyone. It's good to be back again. I'm probably going to just be doing this area and maybe a few others in the new chapter 5 here. And after I'm gonna stop streaming for a bit, as in I'm just gonna be like not doing any streams until I get settled in after I get to Arkansas, because I'm visiting family and going on a trip here. So you know, but once I get there, I'm probably going to be doing more streams at that point, but probably not too many. So yeah, because I got to go ahead and get to work more. So okay, more so on the story I'm looking for. So yeah. Sorry, it's clearly going to yield a destination here. So. Yep. There we are. And let me guess, let's say, yep, Fravenvine. Alright. There's not much to talk about in terms of politics this time around. Because it's not like it's been happening over the last 24 hours since the streaming, so yeah. Run away in case it explodes, but he didn't. So yeah. Hello. Already another storm. Tender Dream Notice, for instance, looks like we already have that one. Although I'm not too sure. Ah, there it is. Which is fine. Alright. Very interesting. Interesting map layout, honestly. Yeah. Interesting. Well, this is obviously a boss.
Get lost. Don't disturb my my stinger, you torch-faced monkey. Now leave while you can. Quit your dawdling, will you? One scratch on my jaws, just one, and you'll be a dead monkey. Quit your dawdling, will you? One scratch on my jaws, just one. Buddhists are unwelcome in the land of death.
I see where he's firing at me from. Okay. I'm gonna go over there and get you.
A monkey?
Alright, let's go and get this guy then.
The nerve! You fur-face, I meant to let you pass, but you chose to ruin my day! Now, face your doom.
Damn. Damn. He's a sliver of health. What do you mean, weakling? I nearly got you. In fact, I'm gonna get you next time.
You are!
do it the second time. I knew it.
My dear, I failed you.
I say that was a hard battle though. That was a pretty hard one. Despite it being the second try, that was a pretty damn hard one, and a good one too as well, I have to say. So, yep. Stained Jade Gorger. Sorry, Stained Jade Gourd. There we go. And there we go. Okay, so I got that guy. And that was a pretty good fight, honestly. I'm not gonna lie. That was a pretty damn good one. And a pretty hard one, too, at that. So, you know. Okay, I think I got one. I'll just increase my mana. And I will be... And before I do my next stream on this game, I'm going to be going ahead and just, you know, leveling up. So, in the next stream, you'll see me with a few more levels here.
A monk.
Alrighty. Okay, I gotta go through here, and let me see what's up here real quick. I think it's just the way around here. Yep. Oh, the shrine. Okay. There I go. Alright. Let me go and craft some anti-miasmas. I'm pretty sure we're trying to buy it. Sell there. Okay. Make some medicine. I don't know how many of those pills I'm gonna need, but might as well get them. Alright.
Away with you!
That was weird. That was a little strange, but whatever.
It's been long since any soul has trodden these hidden bounds. Hail, young master. Your face is gaunt, complexion sallow. Both remind me of the venom's touch, as the worm also besets you. An oddity thrives here, the armor worm. Consuming its eggs grants great power. Yet once the larvae hatch, they devour your insides, leaving an undying husk. My fellow disciples, hungry for power, consumed those eggs. And now, most are beyond remedy. Young master, if you will, end their suffering in my stead. They were my fellows. I can't.
Interesting. Very interesting.
Their lifeless bodies might still bear eggs unhatched. Bring those eggs to me, and perhaps I can find a cure.
Okay, there's another quest here, I guess.
Young master, have you found?
Alright. Let me go and look that up real quick, because I think this might be another quest I can do while I'm streaming. Hold on. Jing hasn't showed up since last stream, so he might not show up at all, I don't know. So let's see, eggs, blacknet, Wukong, quest. Oh, okay. I gotta bring him that then. I gotta bring him the rice cocoon stuff then. Okay. Alright. Okay. No, I know. Alright. Let me go off on the side here just to...
Buddhists are unwelcome in the land of death.
I'm not a Buddhist, I'm a warrior monk. Okay. Just another entryway over here, okay? Alright, that makes sense. Alright. Okay, I didn't know that was going to be a thing there. slugs, I mean. Violent hail, key item, okay. You know what that goes to. Remains of the deceased Taoist, a pedophile helmet, maybe just what Taoist me outside the temple is seeking. Okay. Alright. Alright, let's go back to that guy. Let me go back to that guy, and I will go ahead and see if that's what he needed.
Splendid. This is it. Vile and evil it is. Hence, I must bring it back for thorough study. Young master, in our brief acquaintance, you were kind enough to do me a favor. Why not extend your kindness by leaving your head with me?
Oh.
That would please my master greatly.
Goodbye. I thought that was going to be the killing blow there, but hold on.
A strong foe. Just what I need. You shall be my initial feast to power my metamorphosis ascension.
Okay. So he's another boss. And we'll go into the second phase.
These impudent mortals have overreached themselves. Their demise was of their own creation. But you are special. What poisoned them only strengthens you. Keep it close and wield it wisely. You'll see its potential. Go, release him. Being trapped there is a torment worse than death. I've watched him grow up. I cannot bring myself to do it.
Interesting. Violet Worm, Violet Worm. Transform into a worm Yaguai means a poison, inflicting poison bane on the enemy. Leave the path. Interesting. So I got an extra spell on that. That's nice. Well, I actually went this way, because there seems to be more to this chapter's story than anybody knows, so I'm going to be doing this when we're like this. Their movements are very subtle, trying to break it down.
Buddhists are unwelcome in the land.
I'll save the anti-miasma stuff when I get to bosses. No point in using them on, menial things like this. Okay. Okay, so it's this way then. Alright. That's where I have to go then, but first, chest to get this.
A monk?
God damn it. Alright. I guess I'll go the opposite way. Just to check out what's over here then. I didn't really do that beforehand, so let's see what this leads. There's some room. And that seems to be it. There's nothing over here then. There's the wall. Okay, let me just go straight back to that area then. Travel back. Okay. This fight is extremely easy. Come on, just one more hit. There we go. What, is he gonna swallow the moon or something? that was, despite its easiness, a good fight. It was a good boss fight. I liked it.
All these years apart. And they've marred you like this. I journeyed from Mount Lee to delve into the mysteries of this valley. I didn't mean to hold this back from you. It was because I had to. I stayed my hand for my ties to his mother. That's why I called upon you. But how did you get this? I thought it was with the 100-eyed Guai. This may well be the design of destiny itself. I shall help you and restore its power. Consider this as my token of gratitude. A few strings dangling from the sky. No one knows whether they lead to weal or woe. Why does everyone vie to scale them?
Interesting. I wonder if these secret areas are meant to be areas of the past that Wukong actually ended up doing and not the destined one. Probably, because that's what the other secret areas were, but this one seems to be different. That was a real nice little area there. Glad I did that. And I'm glad I don't have to go on like a huge another quest for that one guy there, because, that seemed to be all that was worth. Okay. This vessel of mine is forged not of iron, steel, nor of gold, but solely from the eyes of my son. Coon steel. Duskvale's horn. Double tree core. Mine core. Double combed rooster blood. Okay. Interesting. This wasn't here before. Preservation order. Very interesting. Let's see what that curio is about. Preservation orb. For a relatively long duration after resurrection, it increases maximum health, mana, and stamina. I think I'll keep this one here because I'm not too sure how it works or if it is even working. Hope I'm doing it right. But yeah, it seems to be working on my end at the very least from what I can tell. But then again, I'm not exactly sure what it is I'm telling about it or not. So, okay then. Here now. Okay. Well, that was pretty much it as far as I'm concerned. That was a great little bit there. I'm going to do a few things and then I'm going to end the stream right now because I think that's all I really wanted to do there. I just wanted to get through that area, beat whatever boss was available, which there seemed to be 3 bosses in the area this time. Which normally there aren't that many. You see that there usually there's 1 boss or 2 bosses, but this one was 3 this time, so that's interesting. Let's see what this is here. Using the gourd while in poison state removes the poison state, moderately increases movement speed and critical hit. Okay. Covers 24% maximum mana. Maximum health with a critical health massively increases recovery. Each ship recovers 35% maximum health when health is below half. Using the gourd grants a considerable amount of progress. Yeah, okay, so I'll go with this one then. Yeah, I'll go with this one. Travel to Root. Oh, I thought it was Ryuji. I thought that's what's up. It's Ryu. It's Ruyi. Ruyi. Yeah. Remembering the pronunciation of Chinese is hard as fuck, you know. So, I don't know. Alright.
May Lord Lao illuminate your path, brave one. It retains the energy of both this world and beyond.
Okay, Tiger's doing pellets, it's nice. So that's for sale. There's this, and there's this. Okay, let's buy some stuff here. On use significantly increases attack, critical hit chance, and critical hit damage for relatively long duration. Okay, that's cool. Then I'll go ahead and go with that. Go with buying that because that's
Big or small, scarcity makes goods precious.
Celestial medicines I can get here real quick. max out mana.
From yin and yang, 5 elements
my health
emerge.
here.
Each nature inherits its unique creation. Each form embodies a universe.
Okay. Got a lot more health there now. Okay. So I can have like about what? 4 more of these then? Okay. That's all cool.
Many are bent on seeking shortcuts. Hence, pill making came to be.
I'm obviously gonna get this because you know.
Where there's drink,
for the
always
upgrading my gourds and all this stuff, so yeah. Okay. Okay.
fight, but not without a gourd that suits just right. Such fine brew would fit your gourd well.
Okay. Covers more health upon using the gourd. 10-year coconut wine. Interesting. Okay. So I like how when you upgrade these, they change the way in which they look. That is very nice. I like that. That's a very good touch, honestly. I do like that. So, yeah.
Drink. It can lead to success or failure. Do drink wine. With no one else around, only your visits can dispel the dullness. No harvest without... Oh, who's there to lend me comfort?
Okay, let's see if I can go ahead and upgrade any of my armor pieces, which I don't think I did. I did. Like, you know.
What's fair to the eye may prove foul.
Yeah, I know. I need more celestial ribbons to do this with, so yeah.
To handle.
Yeah, I need more will, and I think I used all that up just buying some stuff there, so yeah, that makes sense now. So, yeah. Okay. Alright, I'm gonna go back to the
I can't help you
shrine.
when you're dead out there.
I'm gonna go back to the shrine when that last went to in Manure, and then I'm ending the stream then. It's been about like an hour, I think. Let me double check on that. Yeah, it's almost an hour at this point, and by the time I get to the by the time I do some traveling over here, it'll be an hour. So that's good. Yeah. Just checking to see if anyone's in chat at all. Nope, no one's in chat. But alright. Anyways, it's been a great time. It's been a great time doing a good amount of streaming here. I hope you guys enjoyed this session, even though it was pretty chill, all things considered. Not much talking about politics, not much commentary on the current state of things, as nothing's really changed at the moment, at least from what I can tell. Nothing's all that much has really happened. So, yeah. But, since I do have another hour, I will see if there's any video we can go ahead. I can go ahead and just simply put up to comment on here. Let's see. Go through my subscription fee because that's usually pretty good in terms of writing good info here. Let's see here real quick. Yeah, nothing really interesting I wanna comment on really. So. Oh, it says there's a video by Eckhart's Ladder saying the franchise bubble has burst. I wonder what that means. Let me go ahead and put that up there real quick to see what exactly he's talking about here. Alright. Oops. First I've got to end the video here. Oh wait. Huh. There we go. Maximum mana has been increased. Nice. Okay. Just got a quick rest here. I'll have to do that when I come back. And now I'm ending the game. Hold on. And let's go ahead and see what it is Eckhart's Ladder is actually saying on here, shall we?
Justin, hello, and
Ooh, that's a little too loud.
welcome
There
to
we go, that's
another
better.
video. Sort of a late night one. I was working on stuff for tomorrow, but I thought it was an interesting opportunity to talk Brave New World. And no, not Huxley's novel, although I did cover 1984. Maybe Brave New World would be a good option for the future. But the new Captain America film,
Okay, that's kind of
because it comes out at a really interesting point. And if I were a Disney Plus executive, seeing what was going on with Captain America Brave New World, I would be very, very concerned. Now, this video will not have any spoilers. It won't cover anything in the plot. If you want more...
That's good, because if it was, I was just going to end the stream and not bother watching the video, because I don't plan on watching any spoilers whatsoever. I want to see this movie fresh. I want to see what they're going to be doing with it. In terms of its plot, I heard the Red Hulk is in it. I've heard things about how they're finally covering what happened in the Eternals, with this giant celestial finally popping up out of the ground. And I also heard that again, there's a new Captain America, being Sam Wilson, is taking center stage here. So yeah, should be interesting to see how this all goes.
More on that side of things. And I've got to say, we started this channel at probably the worst time ever. We do actually have a Marvel channel under the Eckhart's Ladder umbrella. It's called Professor X. Yes, it is a great name. And that kind of plays into the crux of today's video. Fandom is in a really bad spot right now. And when I say fandom, I'm talking long-running, multi-entry franchises like Star Wars, Marvel, Indiana Jones, Transformers, everything. You know, it's funny that I started a Marvel...
There have been a lot of entries in Star Wars that have been pretty bad overall, but Acolyte isn't one of them. Ahsoka was never one of them, and I don't really know anything about Skeleton Crew. I haven't really watched it, to be perfectly honest. It doesn't seem all that interesting to me, so I probably might skip it. But I might just give it a try just to see how things go. But I have my doubts as to whether or not that will be good or not. But as far as Marvel goes, She-Hulk was, I'll be honest, it started out alright, and then started progressively getting worse as time went by. That movie with Hawkeye's kid, that wasn't the best, but it wasn't bad either. It was just kind of middling. Um, Multiverse of Madness was fantastic. Spider-Man No Way Home was very good as far as I'm concerned. You know, I don't really give a shit what people like Mahler have to say about it because they can go suck a dick as far as I'm concerned. The whole prospect of criticizing it, I'm just doing a double check to see which films have come out because a lot of them have come out. Oh yeah, Agatha, that show Agatha, that was pretty good. Marvel shows 2024. Making sure okay, yeah, Echo, like I said. X-Men 97, while not exactly a part of the MCU, was phenomenally good. I mean, it was surprising about how good it was. So, you know, Marvel movies 2024, just trying to get a tally of everything that released at that point. So, Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. Honestly, I thought that was fantastically well done for the most part. It was a little bit disappointing at the fact that there was that controversy with the actor who played Kang that just made them jettison Kang's whole all the plan that they had for Kang completely out the fucking window, and now they're going with Doom, which is stupid. Deadpool and Wolverine, absolutely fantastic. Didn't see the Marvel, so I can't really talk about it, but I heard it was kind of bad, but I don't really care what people have to say because a lot of people also say that the Acolyte was bad as well as Ahsoka was bad, especially after like episode 5 with Ahsoka, which like I finally watched the rest of Ahsoka and wasn't all that bad. In fact, it was pretty good for all things considered. I get that some people had some problems with these little aliens running around in terms of Star Wars and whatnot. That seemed very Filoni-esque, and Filoni's hands were obviously all over those scenes when we got to Ezra finally, and that was I won't lie and say it was a little bit jarring seeing those little aliens there, but for the most part, I do think that it's way overblown about how people say it was that the quality of that show was bad. It wasn't. It just wasn't. But people have been exaggerating how bad the Phase 4 and Phase 5 have been. I think Phase 4 and 5 haven't been all that good. Starting out with Phase 4 and then Phase 5 coming in, of course. But like it wasn't as bad as people are claiming out to be. So yeah, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, phenomenally well done. Let's see here, Marvel 2023. Just making sure I know which ones. So Marvel movies 2023. Oh, Loki was also fantastically well done. Secret Invasion, I never really finished, so I can't really discuss or say anything about it as far as I'm concerned. That was pretty well done. Thunderbolts is, I don't know why I guess this was announced in 2023, but it's not coming out till like 2025 this year. So, so yeah, it's like, I think people exaggerated how bad it was. And I think with Loki, I think the problem with that a lot of people had with Loki is that it involves some really significantly it involves time travel to a degree, well, in which unless you're already familiar with the concept of time travel in sci-fi, unless you're already familiar with how things go with sci-fi and time travel shit, then it's like you're not gonna follow it, and as a result, you'll probably get confused and you'll think it's bad. But it's not bad, okay? The Loki stuff is actually fairly well done. So yeah.
Marvel channel, I did so a couple of years
Oh yeah,
ago.
yeah, and this show here,
Transformers, everything. It's funny that I started.
Moon Knight. Yeah, Moon Knight. That was very well done as as far as I'm aware. Now I don't know the character all that much, in terms of like reading his comics, but I know enough about it to know that was very well done. You know, yeah.
The Marvel channel, I did so a couple of years ago. Probably the worst possible time in YouTube history to do so. No one cares right now, and we get far more viewership from shows like The Boys, for example, which was a massive hit for the channel. But I really feel like the 2010s, especially like 2015 to 2020, was the age of fandom, where I think regardless of overall reception for a film, it was enough that it was a part of a franchise and part of an overall story to justify getting butts into seats. And I honestly think a big part of this was the novelty of these big interconnected universes, especially like the MCU, where it felt like, okay, regardless of how good the movie is, I want to see this because one of these characters is probably going to be in the Avengers. I need to know what happens before the next big movie, and even if it does stink, there will probably at least be a little teaser at the end for some big reveal. Like,
That is all fair. Like I'm not gonna lie about that. That's all fair. There's nothing really to add about that. Really, he's very much right in that regard.
let's not get it twisted. At least subjectively, there were a lot of bad MCU movies in phases 1 through 3. But the strength of the overall fandom at that point, sort of anchored by the Avengers movies, kept them quite successful. Thor: The Dark World, for example, I thought was very bad, but made almost $650 million in 2013. In 2025 money,
Yeah, people exaggerate about how Thor: The Dark World was bad. Like, you know, people can say it's bad, but when it comes down to it, it's like from a filmic perspective, from the perspective of actually expanding the aspects of what Thor does in terms of his character, how he relates to things, uh, sort of advancing the characterization of the character. Thor: The Dark World was phenomenally well done. It was a hell of a lot better than Thor Ragnarok as far as I'm concerned, because Thor Ragnarok is just a freaking mess, you know? Uh, they changed his character so much in Thor Ragnarok to such a degree, when which a lot of his behavior didn't really make any sense, unless of course you were following those YouTube shorts, not YouTube shorts, those YouTube little trailers of him with his roommate and whatnot. He had an Earthbound roommate. I don't remember his exact name, but that sort of influenced a lot of his behavior in Thor Ragnarok. And then there was also the fact that behind the scene, Kevin Smith had convinced the actor who plays Thor, that Thor should be more jokey, he should be more funny, he should be a person who gives more laughs here and there, and whatnot. It's like, well, why is that? Well, because people like it. People like it when you're funny. People like the laughs and whatnot. It's like, um, that may be the case, really, but when it comes down to it, the change in characterization of who he is and how he acts doesn't really make sense that he would change within the time span of a few years of just knowing these heroes when this character has been around for at least 1,000 years. There's a thing known as character continuity, and making him act the way in which he does in Thor Ragnarok and subsequently in Thor and Love and Thunder is just OOC bullshit. It's out of character completely for him. Um, it Yeah.
believe it or not,
And by the way, those are not the only reasons why it's bad. You know, they take the character and make him supremely selfish. Like when he's interacting with Banner in Thor Ragnarok, you get the sense that he doesn't really actually care um, uh, about Bruce Banner at all. You get the sense that he's just trying to manipulate Banner in a sort of skeezy sort of manner to get what he wants, as opposed to trying to help him as a friend. That's not who Thor is at all. So, you know, there's a bunch of other things I could go into, but thus far, Thor Ragnarok is massively overrated. and is extremely unfunny. And Taika Waititi clearly has no respect for the character whatsoever. His entry into the franchise was a mistake. Him directing the series was a travesty, and I don't think his style of directing doesn't actually fit with the MCU when writing something like Thor Ragnarok. Now, if he were to be a Deadpool, if he would be a co-writer or co-director on Deadpool, that would make a lot more sense. I think he would have a lot more leeway in that regard. But fortunately, that's not where he's working with. So yeah.
That's $808 in 2013. In 2025 money, believe it or not, that's $880 million. And yeah, I know I did somewhat couch that in, it's just my opinion, bro, but I think Thor The Dark World is pretty widely understood to be a shitty movie. I think the one that's even
Widely understood to be a shitty movie. It is widely understood that the prequels are bad. Yet when you actually get people, try to sit them down and ask them why the prequels are bad, it's all opinions. Opinions that are couched in nonsensical bits of bullshit that are not only completely endemic to them being filmically illiterate, but to also basically showcase that they think that they understand the franchise and the movies better than the creator. I'm sorry, but appealing to the wider audience of it's widely understood that this movie is bad isn't convincing to anyone with a critical brain in their skull. So yeah.
even more incredible to me, however, is Iron Man 3 box office of $1.216 billion in 2013 money. I promise we'll get to the point, but for a movie which was almost the definition of watch it on an airplane, just remarkable stuff. All right, let's bring that back.
Okay. Iron Man 3 is a good movie up until we get to the point when which it's revealed Mandarin is a fake. I don't give a flying fuck at all what you think about the movie in terms of the reveal, if you think it's good or not. As far as I'm concerned, taking the Mandarin, one of Iron Man's arch enemies in the comics, and making him into a joke character reveal, making it so that way the Mandarin doesn't exist at all, will not fly with me. I don't care what you think. And the reason why I think of it is twofold. Number one is that the Mandarin is, I think, Tibetan or hold on. Let's look at the. I'm giving you a reason why it is that the Mandarin was changed in the movie from the comics, real quick. What nationality is the Mandarin in the comics? Wait, that's not right. He's. Hold on. It's not. Yeah, some of this stuff in AI is obviously not. Wait a second, that's Wikipedia. What? He was born in China? I thought he was supposed to be like Tibetan or some shit. Or some other. Is a Mandarin a offensive character? Fuck off. So, yeah. Country is Mandarin from in Marvel Comics. I guess he's Chinese. I had heard that he was Tibetan or some other Eastern country or whatever that China doesn't want to really acknowledge all that much. It's different from themselves or whatever. You know, it was some what was that country that China? What's the name of that country that China is saying is a part of them, but is not, and we pretend is a part of them, but but we actually don't. Like publicly, we pretend that's a part of them, but privately, we actually do send diplomats to them. I'm talking about the U.S. In terms of like what our behavior is. Let's see. What country does China claim is theirs? Let's look at this real quick. Matsu Island, Kinmen Island. It's Taiwan. There we go. Yeah, Taiwan. Okay. Taiwan. I thought he was Taiwanese, is what it was. So I guess the Mandarin isn't Taiwanese, but like, why did they change him? Never mind. Okay, so that problem is now gone. I no longer think that that's a problem. But the real reason why it is, I think that it's a bit of an issue here, is because the Mandarin is basically the arch nemesis of Tony Stark. He is basically what Tony Stark would have been had he, instead of being a billionaire individual, if he had gotten a hold of advanced alien technology. The rings that he holds are basically give him uh, sort of powers and abilities, but they're all technologically derived. So it makes it seem like he's magical, but in reality, it's alien technology. And due to him being a businessman, due to him being a individual who, for the most part, has like a lot of power and a lot of leeway in terms of his sphere of the world, that makes him sort of the arch nemesis to Iron Man. Not only for obvious reasons, because like he's the main person trying to take over the world effectively with these rings of his, but he's also um, attempting to force Iron Man to capitulate his ideology to the Mandarins. So and the fact that we never got to see that, the fact that that was completely overblown and he was turned into a joke character, is unacceptable for me. It is just nauseatingly bad. And I think a lot of this stuff was based on the Mandarin as the idea of the Mandarin being racist. So, like this particular take here. The Mandarin, yeah, here we go. Mandarin, reimagining problematic characters. It's like, this bit of nonsense is just like, yeah, okay, I get that the imaging isn't exactly very good in terms of early Marvel, but then later we get this depiction here, which is absolutely fantastic. This is a depiction that they should have went with the Mandarin in a lot of ways. He should have been uh, engaging with that. So, the actual reimagining of the character can best be seen in the Invincible Iron Man Annual #1. The annual is the story of the Mandarin's life as told by him to a kidnapped Chinese movie maker, Jun Shan. Yeah. So, I think they just decided to throw the baby out with the bathwater in this. But it's very interesting that they made him into initially a Middle Eastern sort of terrorist individual, and then like completely jettison that to say, oh, he's an actor. Like, just complete nonsense. And there's a lot of other things going on with Iron Man after that as well. That's a bit of an issue there. But yeah, the movie is very bad. Up once it's one of those movies that's good up to that reveal, and then it immediately sucks all of the energy out of it and all of the build up and just proceeds to retroactively make everything behind it bad and everything going forward bad too. So
Back to the present day and talk Captain America Brave New World. We're, I guess, 3 to 4 movies into phase 5 of the MCU now, and Marvel has very clearly struggled with the post-Endgame version of their universe. You could say the same thing is going on with, honestly, the Star Wars series right now. Not just the films, whether they actually come out or not, but everything. When you're building up to one big final moment, but you're in a fandom where you gotta keep making products, the question of what do you do next is one that honestly can be very difficult to answer. Looking at the films released as a part of this phase, I think that's well represented. Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, for example. Box office pull of less than 500 million, failed to break even, massive disappointment for a character who is an established part of the Avengers and with some star power, including Paul Rudd, and the setup of what may have been the future big threat in the MCU with Jonathan Majors and Kang. When that...
I have to say, I hate this idea of using a metric such as box office sales to determine whether or not a movie was disappointing or not. Can't you just simply say a movie is disappointing based upon the overall cinematic quality of what was presented as to whether or not that cinematic quality was competent in terms of story writing, acting, and cinematography? Can't you just say that? Why does it always have to be box office bullshit? Like box office numbers do not translate into it being a good movie, okay? Avatar, the movie by James Cameron, was a box office blockbuster. It made a lot of money at the whole thing. But if you look at the details of it, if you look at what it was in terms of like its presentation and how it presented itself, it was very preachy. The story itself wasn't structured very well because it was aping off a lot of the tropes and a lot of the callbacks to other films such as Dancing with Wolves, and some people say Pocahontas, but I don't really see the similarities between that one, if anything else really. But um, and a lot of other Native American movies of a man who joins the Native Americans, fights for them or whatever, and fights off against the oppressors and all that stuff. And really, there wasn't really an explanation as to why it was they wanted the uh, the resource called unobtainium. Like they wanted the resource unobtainium because it made them a lot of money. Like what? Like seriously? We had to get a whole nother movie that sort of explained the fact that this resource was very critical for them to be able to continue space travel so that way they can continue to gather more resources and bring it to the planet because their planet is kind of dying. We don't really get that in the first movie. We have to have the second movie. And the second movie just plods, continues the plotting of the same threads of the first movie into the second movie. So there's a lot of like repeats of plots in the second movie of Avatar, The Way of Water or whatever. It's like these are not very good movies at all, but yet they made a ton of money at the box office. Both movies did. But that doesn't speak to this overall quality. And obviously Eckhart knows this because he brought it up because Iron Man 3 made a crap ton of money at the box office. Thor: The Dark World, in his opinion, is a very good movie, but it also made a lot of money in the box office too. So why is he using this as a metric to judge the overall quality of these movies? I don't know. Doesn't make much sense to me. He needs to have a better standard, is what I'm saying, yeah.
That film did poorly. I started to get a bit worried for the MCU. And yeah, massive disappointment there. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, however, very strong brand. That one ended up doing well, and I think a big part of it is just that it was genuinely a good movie. I'm not a huge fan of the Guardians series. I just don't love the tone and the style of comedy. I know that's not a popular opinion, but we saw another success with Deadpool and Wolverine. Massive success, actually. I don't really know if I count that as a part of the MCU truly. But then the Marvels was just an absolutely massive bomb. The worst performing film in the MCU. Fell significantly below break even. And now we have Captain America Brave New World, which to me honestly felt like one they really needed to nail. Yes, the original Captain America, Chris Evans, is gone. However, Captain America sort of as a station and as a hero generally is still so closely tied to the Avengers and the overall story, I think, that I would have expected this movie to be a key focus. It also, interesting characters like Red Hulk. But not only has this film received mixed reviews from critics, the public seems to feel the same way with, as I'm recording this video, we've just discovered a B- cinema score. And if you're not familiar with cinema score, you're probably thinking, oh, B-, that's not bad, not great, but not bad. B- is terrible. That's worse than Quantumania. It's worse than Venom: The Last Dance. The lowest in the MCU, at least I believe. The box office tracking for the film was looking okay before release, but as of the time I'm recording this, the actual Thursday numbers are just okay, and most likely it's going to fall off a cliff with word of mouth presumably going to be pretty poor. I think the one benefit is that the trailers were a lot stronger than Quantumania and for other disappointments like the Marvels, but this could end up being a disaster. And this sort of brings me to my point. We're past people putting their butts in seats simply because this is a fandom project, because this continues the overall story of something. I think it's pretty clear that we're seeing the result of decisions made some time ago when the fandom was in a different spot. We've seen the same with Star Wars on Disney+. Some shows do well, 1 million are ordered, half end up being bad, or at least just mediocre, and the overall appetite for the fandom is really heavily damaged.
That is a fair point. I guess when it comes down to it, a lot of public reception towards a lot of various movies going forward has been kind of damaged by certain products coming out, not living up to par to its quality, not being very good in terms of the things that have been produced, as well as very strange decisions like just pulling the plug on Kang based on a bullshit controversy. You know, that's not even involved in the film at all. That's just the personal life with the actor, which, by the way, the footage and everything else that released with the actor who played Kang completely absolves him of it. I'll go into the story right now. What happened is that there was a controversy involving him being a wife beater or whatever, or him like beating on his not his wife beater, girlfriend. It was his girlfriend that he was supposedly abusing and physically hitting or whatever, and all that stuff. But what happened is that he was in a car and his wife was his girlfriend was just yelling at him, just constantly just going off on him and whatnot. And it looked pretty bad for all intents and purposes, really. But the thing was that what happened was that he was being accused of beating on her and all that stuff. But the fact of the matter is that footage came out showing that he was being berated by her in such a fashion that more or less indicated that she was like mad that he was cheating or something like that. And it turned out that he wasn't. He was just talking with a female friend of his, and that was it. But anyways, he got out, tried running away from her, and in the process, she got injured when she chased after him. And she tried to claim that she beat on him when that wasn't the case. So, Disney, for some reason, has this aversion to any kind of controversy, even if you accuse people in a controversy. They don't even wait until there's any kind of actual, like, believable evidence to come forward or believable shit to come forward. They just say, "Oh, you're accused or whatever. We're gonna pull the rug out from you." So yeah, and that's what happened there. I think a lot of the faith that people had in the MCU was triggered off by that. So yeah,
Wouldn't want to be the guys working on Thunderbolts right now. There's going to be a lot of pressure on that. Even more, however, I think will be on the Fantastic Four. That comes out in June, then we get into Avengers territory. But yeah, I mean, Star Wars is obviously dealing with the same problem. As I said, we've had a lot of shows which are just middle of the road, I think, some which are very expensive, and honestly, there was a time when I think the Star Wars brand was strong enough that a full non-animated film flopping like even Solo did would have been unprecedented. The same is true of The Acolyte, I think, but it's not just Star Wars, it's not just Marvel. Indiana Jones, I thought that movie was actually pretty good, but there's just not the same kind of brand loyalty anymore. Even the new Fast and Furious movie, like, what's gonna happen with the new Jurassic Park movie? I don't know, but it's a different era. It's not necessarily a bad thing either, because I think that Marvel shouldn't be able to get away with putting out a bunch of subpar movies and getting butts in seats because they know it could have a flash of something that you need to know for the upcoming Avengers movie. Same with Fast and Furious. There was a time where it seemed like they could make anything and people would watch. And this is where we get to Star Wars again, because I'm worried about The Mandalorian and Grogu. It feels like a movie which could just be aggressively mid, and that could spell box office disaster, and I don't really know how the brand recovers from that. Having The Mandalorian and having Baby Yoda in your movie is not enough. We've seen people aren't going to see a Star Wars thing just because it's Star Wars. Anyway.
yeah, like Boba Fett. The way in which Boba Fett was dragged down by Baby Yoda being there, and the way in which that Baby Yoda was being substituted for Boba Fett Fett, bringing down the Rancor, ended up deflating a lot of fans' interest in that show, the Book of Boba Fett. But also after that, you had Mandalorian season 3, or was season 3 before? No, season 3 was before. But anyway, season 3 was not very good for all intents and purposes. It was okay, but being okay is a massive failure for that show, given the first 2 seasons of The Mandalorian was so phenomenal. But yeah, it is a problem with Star Wars, but I don't think that same problem is transferable to Marvel, because Marvel has been going strong for a long, long time after Disney's acquisition, where Star Wars has not been going strong for a very long time, has been mired in endless fucking controversies, and for the most part, just does not connect with a lot of people. I mean, one of the first things they did when they did with Star Wars is that they alienated a large portion of the fan base by just getting rid of Legends and by lying to us and saying that it was an effort to maintain a form of continuity that wasn't present in the original, when later on we found out that it was, of course, because Chewbacca was dead, and they couldn't make a movie without Chewbacca in it, and as a result of that, they couldn't have the original iconic characters all together and whatnot. Because Disney, for some reason, seems to think that Star Wars is sellable due to the characters and not necessarily the mythological stories that are told within it. Because let's be perfectly honest, Tales of the Jedi as a story was massively successful and had none of the characters that we associate within the original trilogy or with the prequel trilogy at all. So yeah, it is very clear that they don't know what the fuck they're doing with Star Wars. But with Marvel, on the other hand, they kind of do know what they're doing there, because a lot of the people driving Marvel are the same people who write the comics too. Not all of them, of course. Taika Waititi was never a comic book creator or whatnot, but there are people who are heading up the Marvel comic book. There are people who are planning through the Marvel franchise, who are planning through these movies and they're writing. Planning which movies are going to be put forth within the MCU from phases 1 to 3. Like, what was it? Who was the? Let's see, real quick, I forget his name. Who was the director for Marvel phases 1 through 3? What was his name again? No, not the director. The overall, not the individual directors, the actual the main guy in charge of. Who was the main guy in charge of Marvel phases 1 through 3? That is not correct. I know that's not correct because Isaac I. Perlmutter was never a name that came up that people were talking about whatsoever during that time. I mean, he may have been chairman and former CEO of Marvel Entertainment during that, obviously, but that was not. He was not the guy who was going over. Anyways, the guy who planned phases 1 through 3 and had Thanos being the main guy going through there. He was the person who was doing so. The Russo brothers, was it? No, they were the. Hold on. What involvement did the Russo brothers have in phases 1 through 3 of MCU? Okay, I guess by and large they were the ones who were directing the MCU to. So let's just say the Russo brothers, okay? These guys, see, were the Russo brothers. Paul, no, I just remembered his name. Paul Feige. Paul Feige. Paul Feige was a comic book writer. Paul Feige. Feige. Comic books. Oh, I guess I'm wrong here. I thought Paul Feige was a comic book writer for Marvel at some point. Feige, Marvel. Wait. Was that? No, I guess I'm thinking of someone else. I can't remember his name, I guess. Whatever his name was, he was the main guy who was in like the charge of making the MCU movies for phases 1 through 3, and then he left after Infinity War had gone by. So he was a comic book writer as well. So you had people who understood comics and who understood how to integrate them into movies, directing this whole process. You don't have that anymore with the MCU anymore for some reason. So the problems that Marvel has are not the same problems that Star Wars has. Okay, I just want to make that very clear.
Anyway, those are my thoughts. Sorry for the rambling video. Hopefully we'll have another one up today, maybe tomorrow.
Okay, that's really all. That's really all I have to say. There's not much to say beyond that. I will see you guys later. Bye-bye.